Aaron Rodgers did sort of dismiss Tyler Dunn's article about the Packers, but the reality is he was saying that Aaron and Mark Murphy did not get along. Now we find out they don't. Aaron now admitting this all started a year ago. So Tyler Dunn yesterday came out and said, I've heard Aaron Rodgers was telling opposing players this past season he was looking to build a team elsewhere. He wanted to see if they'd be interested in teaming up. He obviously has been thinking about this for a while. And you know, it's Aaron's a smart guy, right? Aaron's smart enough to see around corners and see trouble brewing. So, I mean, just on a macro level, just think about this. Think about all the teams Green Bay is considered like a Super Bowl teams, right? So Kansas City is one of those teams. Green Bay is one of those teams. Kansas City has upgraded their offensive line extensively this offseason. They appear to be better. Tampa Bay, not sure how they could get better, but they re-signed everybody. The Rams finally got Sean McVay, a Pro Bowl level quarterback. Buffalo was 13-3. They addressed in the draft their only real weakness, pass rush, defensive line. Seattle's 12-4. They've upgraded on the O-line and wide receiver and tight end. Indy was 11-5. Their weakness, athletic ability at quarterback. Major upgrade. Cleveland was 11-5. Major weakness, secondary. Massive upgrade. Baltimore was 11-5. Major weakness, wide receiver. Major upgrade. Green Bay is the only Super Bowl contender in that group that got worse. A, they lost a Pro Bowl center. B, they didn't sign any big free agents. C, they had a bizarre draft in which even people that liked the Packers, Pro Football Focus, gave it close to a D. It was a weird draft. One potential playmaker. One. Is it possible Aaron Rodgers says, what the hell? This team's Super Bowl window's closed anyway. There's this belief that if you can get to a conference championship, you can win the Super Bowl. That's not true. Andrew Luck, 11-5, got to a conference championship. Had a little easier route, then they got crushed. Just because you get to a conference championship does not mean you're a Super Bowl team. Green Bay 2 years ago got there, and they got rolled by San Francisco that lost to Kansas City. So this idea that we all know that Super Bowl windows, especially in the NBA, they close fast. That Seahawks Super Bowl window, it was like bang. That Niners Super Bowl window with Harbaugh, huge, shrinks. It does not last long. I mean, New England had one, closed for a decade. Then it opened back up. But people forget New England had two dynasties, early and late. But in the middle, it closed. They got old defensively, missed on some draft picks. They weren't a Super Bowl team. So you start looking, and last year you can make an argument, everything worked out perfectly for Green Bay. So who was in their way? San Francisco. Oh, Garoppolo got hurt. Tom Brady went to Tampa, but there was a pandemic, so he didn't even get a preseason or OTAs. It was the perfect time. Drew Brees was officially too old, and they were the number one seed. They had home field advantage. And oh, by the way, the Rams, McVay and Goff, there was a fissure in that by about week 11 and 12, and that it was kind of the perfect year. Is Aaron Rodgers looking at this thing thinking, so now I got no Pro Bowl center. Good luck with Tom Brady getting the number one seed and getting Lambeau at home in the playoffs. That's probably not going to happen. Now McVay's got a Pro Bowl quarterback. Now Garoppolo, or, reports this morning, Trey Lance is popping. They're back. Maybe he's just saying, the heck with it. Well, why not move? The window's closed. And Aaron knows it. I mean, they're very dependent on Davante Adams. I mean, just think about this. If I said to you, Davante Adams, who's missed 6 games in 2 years, great player, torn ACL at practice yesterday, we completely eliminate the Packers from the Super Bowl bubble. No other good team. I mean, if I said Chris Godwin or Mike Evans out for the year for Tampa, so what? They're still favored to win the NFC. I mean, no other team feels as dependent on one skill player. And Davante Adams, as great as he is, he gets banged up. So, maybe Aaron sees something that Green Bay can't acknowledge. Last year worked out perfectly. Everybody else getting better. Green Bay looks slightly worse. Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Well, the Nuggets bounced back from game one.
They did.
They evened up the first round series with the Blazers. MVP frontrunner Nikola Jokic led the way, 38 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. They held him to only 1 assist in game one, which was very influential. Dame had a big game again, 8 3-pointers in the first half to tie an NBA playoff record, but the Denver defense kept him in check in the second half, holding him to only 10 points, and the Nuggets went on to win 128-109. This was a very chippy game. There were more technical fouls.
It was. It got really well
in this game.
It did feel a little bit like Portland won the first game in Denver, and it's like now it's house money. It just did. I thought Denver came out in the first quarter with so much energy. It was like Denver. If you'd have never watched game one and you didn't know the result and you watched the first 10 minutes of that game, your takeaway was, boy, Denver is playing desperate basketball.
For everything except for Dame.
Yeah.
Dame. And then they got it together with Dame in the second half. But, Dame's incredible. He had 42 points, 4 rebounds, and 10 assists. He's going to do what he does regardless. But, they're going to have to do more if the Nuggets are going to play that way. I mean, that's CJ had 21 points. Nurkic had 7 points. Probably needed more from him. He fouled out also, but he did have 13 rebounds. The Blazers also committed 21 turnovers, so they were outscored 54-32 in the paint, 16-4 in fast break points, and 21-4 in second chance points. So they were just outplayed by the Nuggets. So LeBron hasn't quite looked like himself since he returned from the high ankle sprain on May 15th. He does had some moments, but he insists he's good to go, and Frank Vogel is going to treat him like he's fully healthy.
I'm moving forward as if he's a healthy player, understanding there's going to be a play or two throughout the game, where he doesn't move on it very well, and that just comes with a guy playing through an injury. Ideal situation, he has another few weeks to fully put it behind him, but he's moving pretty well, in most situations, and I approach the game like he's a healthy player, and just understand that there's going to be a handful of plays where it looks like it limits him.
I mean, at this point, what other choice do they have? They have to rely on LeBron and play as if he's healthy, even if he's not. Now, I would venture to say that most guys at this point of the season are not 100% healthy. Everyone's probably around 80 to 90%.
That's pro sports.
That's what it is. You would prefer to not be coming off of managing an injury during the regular season. That's obviously a big difference.
That's why they invented hot tubs. What do you call those? Ice tubs?
Have you ever been in one of those things?
Oh, it's not for the faint of heart.
I don't understand it.
Well, you want to ice injuries. You want to cool swelling.
I get the purpose of it, but how do you sit in that?
Painfully.
I don't even like taking lukewarm showers.
Well, I took last night, my wife and I
would never get in the cold tub in high school or college. So I hated it.
105-degree hot tub. I got in last night with my wife, and I can take about 6 minutes of it.
Well, yeah, the extreme heat is not very pleasant either.
And so you
start to feel like you can't breathe, like you're going to faint.
And so I just think you don't sit in those things forever, but I've known a lot of pro athletes that do it, and they're like, that's why they created it.
No, I mean, they definitely work.
Yep.
I'm just a baby. I can't tolerate it. They're going to need a better game from Anthony Davis. That's going to be the key. Anthony Davis is going to have to step up. 13.7 rebound, 2 assists is not going to get it done against this really good Suns team. They also shot 26.9% from the three-point range in game one. So Kentavious Caldwell-Pope was 1 of 7 from 3. That's not enough.
It's really interesting. Kuzma feels a little lost right now. Dennis Schroeder is a little hit and miss. Caruso's become bizarrely important for the Lakers because he gets along with LeBron. For a championship team that's got talent, there's a lot of.
I don't want to overreact too much to game one.
I know. No, I get that, and I think the Lakers will win the series. But when I watch them, it's just if they win this championship, it's just the power of LeBron because there's a lot of stuff that you can't have Drummond on the floor a lot because they get slow. Schroeder is sometimes he's good. Kuzma feels lost. KCP, who was great last year, LeBron's injury. AD sometimes is an enforcer, sometimes is disengaged. The Lakers are a team with a lot of stuff, and LeBron has this ability to kind of pull it all together and it works, but it's not a perfect team. There's a lot of question marks.
No, I think every team in the playoffs right now is flawed, but the difference is this team is flawed and has LeBron James, so you still have to take them that seriously. So Tom Brady is back on the field. He is